Every single day that I get up, no matter where I am in the world, I could be in a hotel, I could be at home in my bed, wherever I am. The first hour is spent on some sort of meditation. My hour meditation is simply walking, and I have a whole set, but anything that is moving my personal growth forward. If I do not start my day with that 1 hour of calmness, like if I would look at my phone or pull out any social media or emails or anything like that, my day goes straight downhill.
Hi, Gina. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on Peak Performance Perspective, where we help entrepreneurs master health, wealth, and relationships. Now, you are a fitness trainer, an entrepreneur. What does peak performance mean to you?
Peak performance means to me doing the very best that I can in that moment, in the very moment that I'm in. And I can briefly explain that. Like at right now at 48 years old, when I go into a gym and say I'm hitting an hour session of legs, I remember what that hour session looked like 10 years ago. And maybe that is not what it is today, or even in that moment. Maybe it's not what it was 2 weeks ago. But I'm going to give everything I have in that I'm going to give my peak where I'm at. So to me, it's just honoring where you are at in the moment, where you're at in the season of your life. And that's where it relates to the gym, but that goes to any point in my life. If I'm looking at like business or how my relationships are, it's just evaluating what is the health of those relationships or business that we're talking about, and are they optimal right now? Are they optimal for me right now? And if not, how can I make them better? I just try not to do a comparison of what maybe that looked like in the past. And that past could be an hour ago or it could be 10 years ago.
But how do you do that? How are you so present in the moment? Because so many of us, when we go to the gym or we go to work, the hooks that tie into our back and they pull us back, like family or issues or problems or children. There are so many distractions. How are you able to turn all that off and just focus on what you're doing?
Two things. Number one, practice by doing this. And this is number two. This is the most important. Every single day that I get up, no matter where I am in the world, I could be in a hotel, I could be at home in my bed, wherever I am. The first hour is spent on some sort of meditation. And hear me out on this. I'm not talking about sitting on the floor, listening to meditation music and going into some deep meditation. My hour meditation is simply walking because I have to be moving, and I have a whole set, but anything that is moving my personal growth forward. If I do not start my day with that 1 hour of calmness, like if I would look at my phone or pull out any social media or emails or anything like that, my day goes straight downhill. So it is starting myself centered. And it's interesting. Some days I'll pick one to listen to I haven't listened to, and it just happens to hit at the right moment. This is the one I had to hear today. I was told that when I started my entrepreneur journey by a mentor. She said, "You will fail if you do not start your day with some sort of meditation practice." And I was like, okay. At first, I just blew it off. And she's 100% correct. So that is one way and that is what I practice every day, 365 days a year, even when I don't want to do it. Sometimes it'll be laying on the couch, like I'm tired, but most of the time there's movement in it. And it sets you up for a different mindset for the rest of the day. The other part of that is same mentor. Every day that I walk into the gym and say I'm going to give my hour to work out for myself, that's my workout meditation. That's my time to stay right present. That's my time, not looking around at what everybody else is doing. I imagine that as now, this is my workout meditation. This is my time, really focusing on the movements that I'm doing. And over time, it just became second nature. Anything that you practice over and over again, you become really good at it and you become better at just getting rid of all those distractions, because life is going to throw distractions at you almost every second of the day from the time you wake up. If you don't grab onto the reins, take a hold of it, take control of that, and say, no, I'm the one in control here, it just gives you such a sense of calm. I can't explain it. Anyone listening, if you're not doing it, if you're not starting your day like that, I highly recommend it.
A little bit ago, you said you're 48 years old, you're a fitness trainer, but you're in the best shape of your life. You're about to enter a bodybuilding competition. We were talking about that on our pre interview, but it all wasn't always like this. You had a struggling phase that you went through that required you to make some changes in your life. Tell us a little bit about what was happening at that time in your period of your life.
Yeah. Like everyone, we always have struggles or things that hit us sideways in life. And I had two very big ones. The first one was first, I grew up in my dad's gym. My dad was a professional bodybuilder. I've had the love of fitness since I was born. That's the joke. So I was blessed with that. So I've always been fit, athlete, best shape of my life in my early 30s. And my brother committed suicide. So that was the first big life moment that kind of knocked me down. And I spiraled from his death. And over the few years following his death, which was in 2010, I gained a bunch of weight. I was overeating. I was over drinking. I just had literally lost myself, both physically and mentally. After I got that back on track and said, okay, enough of this, got that all fixed up and got back to myself and healthy and back into the gyms. And I started teaching back in the gyms here in LA. And I was teaching like a ton of classes and then going off to work. And I started gaining a bunch of weight. And I'm like, what is going on? And I was just, and probably a million other symptoms. I was just really struggling. I was struggling like mentally. I couldn't focus on anything. I'm like, what in the heck is going on? Little did I know because I just imagined myself as being a whole lot younger than I actually was. I'm in my early 40s and doctors, yeah, you're in perimenopause. And I was like, huh? What? Are you talking about? I'm too young for that. I don't know what you're even saying. So, anyway, at that time, that was 6 years ago, a lot of people weren't talking about it. They just weren't talking about it. It was not on social media. I am grateful to see the shift in our society. Women are talking about it now. Like they're talking about it and they're not having to go through it alone. But I was alone. I was alone in this. I wasn't getting answers from doctors. So I had to go down a rabbit hole of like, how can I fix myself because I saw my health like declining quite rapidly. Now, to be fair in this too, I had like severe symptoms. I was having hot flashes multiple times an hour. Like I was unable to function. And turns out my mom had the same. It was kind of, I probably shouldn't have been surprised, but I just figured because I was so fit and healthy, like nothing like that would happen to me. And that's when I realized like there's no help. There's no help out there for women that just all of a sudden wake up and don't know who the heck they are or and see their bodies changing. I was a fitness professional and couldn't fix my body. Like I'm somebody who's supposed to know what to do. So somebody who doesn't know what to do, like they're at a total loss. So that was like the second big smack or detour in my life. And it was ended up being a real blessing because I did so much research and found out everything I needed to know, got more certifications, went to hormone specialists, and completely changed my habits. So it turns out you can't just do everything that you've always done your entire life when your hormones shift as a woman. So I had to make a lot of changes, both physically and mentally. So that's what led me to shifting my business to women only. I focus just on women, midlife women. There's about 1 billion of us that are going to hit this phase this year, which is just crazy number. So there's a lot of us out there that could really use each other to get through this.
So, what misconceptions did you have about premenopause before experiencing it firsthand? And now that you've gone through it and conquered it, how did the reality differ?
Honestly, I didn't know really anything about perimenopause. I really never even heard of that. I just heard of menopause and I thought that was like in your 50s. It was just one thing to me. And that's when you get hot flashes and that's when things change. And so I was unaware of that like 2 to 10 year period that is called perimenopause where the transformation is happening. I was really unaware of it. And looking back at it now, I was like, oh my gosh, like I was so uneducated about something so big that I didn't see coming. And again, I really just thought, I guess I really thought because I took such good care of myself and I was so fit and I worked out all the time and I was generally very healthy that it just wasn't going to affect me the way that it affected my mom.
For those who are listening into this, what is one thing that you wish every woman knew about perimenopause before reaching that stage?
Okay. It comes in with a whispers before you even hear the loud yelling and have to do something about it. So there were, when I looked back on it, when I sat with my hormone specialist and she said, and started asking me some questions, I'm like, oh, wait, yes, those things were happening. I wish somebody would have warned me, like, be on the lookout for some of these things. So I'll give you an example. Obviously, I had missed a couple cycles. Now, again, I was exercising very heavily, very intense cardio. So I thought it was just some stress because other than that, I felt completely normal. And so I would tell anyone listening, please start, even in your late 30s, start tracking every single cycle, start tracking any changes. Itching at night. I started insanely itching at night. I thought I was allergic to the detergent. I'm looking at all these outside things without realizing that things were changing. So I wish somebody would have told me that and how early it can start. It can be in your 30s. So just being aware of that, that no matter how fit you may be right now, it's coming no matter what you do or how it looks like for you, it is coming. And cut down that cardio and start picking up those weights.
That's really interesting, right? Because traditional fitness advice is about just diet and a little bit of weightlifting, perhaps, and cardio, but nobody really talks about the hormonal aspect of it, especially for women. So, can you explain how the traditional fitness and diet advice often fails women in perimenopause?
Yes. Okay. And this is the number one thing that I want to get across today. Number one, if they take nothing else from this, is cut back on the cardio and pick up those weights. Your metabolism speeds up with the more muscle mass that you have. So, first of all, if you want to be losing weight, you need to be lifting. My generation, we thought it was just cardio bunny. All I taught was cardio classes. And it just doesn't work at this phase. You want to burn more fat, you have to put on the muscle. Another thing, my mom is 73 years old and is full blown osteoporosis. She was again of that era that you just do cardio and you don't pick up weights, that's for men. And her bones are so frail, if she falls, it's a major problem. So we need to protect our bones and we want to lose that weight. If you have weight to lose, how we do it is through our muscles. So building that muscle is very important. I promise you, you are not going to get bulky. You are not going to look like a bodybuilder. That is the biggest misconception that I wish I could scream at the top of a hill for everybody to hear me. You will not get big. That takes focused effort, a very specific plan, specific eating. So you're not going to get big, but I do want you to put down the 2 pound weights. The 2 pound weights and the 3 pound weights are not doing anything for you. Minimum 3 days a week. If you are not sure how to lift weights, I highly recommend hiring a trainer. It doesn't have to be for a long period, just so you know how to move your body with weights, what you can handle, and so you don't injure yourself. And basically, you're going to do that until death because it is the single most important thing you can do is preserving and building those muscles. Again, if that's the one thing that anyone takes today from this conversation, that's my biggest recommendation.
Yeah. No, I love it because you're right. Even female friends that I have, it's just casually the conversation because I train a lot. I'll tell them you need to go weight train. And the first comment is, I don't want to get too big. And I say, they're grown men trying desperately to get too big. It's not happening. It's that easy. If you could just look, put on muscle, and wouldn't life be easy? So
Yeah.
obviously what you're talking about, the need to lift weights properly, heavy weights, and putting down the pink dumbbells, like you said, that's all true. Why do we have to stop cardio? Why not also continue cardio on the side?
Great question. We do not stop cardio. So let me be clear about that. So cardio obviously has many benefits. We want to be able to raise our heart rate so we keep that heart nice and healthy. What I'm encouraging is that you're not strictly doing cardio. Okay, that is doing you an injustice when you hit perimenopause. Like I said, I was teaching indoor cycling classes and running classes. All I was doing was cardio. And I was rapidly gaining weight and burning myself out and felt terrible. My body fat just went to places it never used to go to before because that's what happens. Our body composition is changing in our 40s. So you definitely want to still hit about that 150 minutes of cardio a week. I prefer steady state cardio, those nice fast walks. Again, while I'm doing my meditation in the morning, I aim for 12,000 steps a day. Obviously, everybody knows the whole 10,000 a day, but I prefer to keep moving. Cardio definitely has its place. I would just say that is not your number one, just to make sure you get that in just a couple days a week. But if you are not lifting weights, that needs to be incorporated. And if you want to do a HIIT class, a high intensity class 1 day a week, that's great too for getting up your heart rate and really working that heart muscle. But again, just cut back on it. We want more of a balance.
Yeah. People know this around the world intuitively. This is the biggest fight between husband and wives. Is like the wife is he decided to start training and he just dropped a bunch of weight right off the bat. And here I am, I can't do anything. And we know this intuitively, but now science is showing it is difficult for women to lose weight, particularly because of the hormonal fluctuations. So, what strategies or practices have you found particularly effective to managing these hormone fluctuations and their symptoms?
Tracking. That's the simplest answer. I have a monthly calendar every month, and I am tracking which phase I am in, the days 1 through 14, and then 15 through 28. I know exactly where I am in that cycle. I am taking hormone replacement therapy. I did have to start HRT. For those of you who don't know what HRT is, hormone replacement therapy, estrogen and progesterone. So I am tracking, that on the calendar anyway. And so I know when you're actually looking at your cycle in a whole month. I've gotten so good at it. I know these 2 days, I'm going to be hungrier. I'm going to be hungrier. This is the time. And that's okay. I can be hungrier, give my body a little bit more than I need. And these are the days where I can't really push myself really hard in the gym. I'm not going to do a crazy leg day on those days. And I give myself grace for it. To your point. So my guy friends, every day is the same to them. That's just lovely for you guys. It takes you 2 seconds to do your hair, and every day is the same. Good for you, okay? But it doesn't work like that for us. So instead of like me fighting it, I would get up and just be like, oh, why do I not feel this today? And why do my legs feel like 100 pounds, like each? Like why do I feel heavy? I didn't know my body that well until I started tracking. So it's tracking because I can literally point on a calendar. I'll know if we're going to go on vacation, right? 20th to 25th of whatever month. And I can say, okay, I'm going to be feeling this way at this time. And it is pretty spot on. It just gives you back your power and helps you plan out a little bit more because women, we do need more planning than men.
And I think it's a great point for everybody listening to this to remember that if you are a woman and you're training with some Joe Schmo male trainer who doesn't understand this thing, you're not going to be getting effective results. If anything, you'll be more frustrated. I find a lot of women who are training get frustrated because they're doing the right, they're doing what they think is correct, that the Joe Schmo male trainer is telling them, but because they don't have this advanced knowledge of hormonal health and how to work around that, I think it's breaking more people's willpower than it really should.
100% agree. And I know some phenomenal male trainers in Los Angeles, where I'm located. They're phenomenal. Are they trained in midlife women? No. There's just and there are trainers with very specific niches and they're really good at it. So because of my knowledge now, like it is so important for me. I hired a competition trainer. As you mentioned, I am going to be competing, and competition training is a little different. So, not my wheelhouse. I'm going to hire a trainer. And I have male trainer friends that are like, I could totally train you for that. I'm like, no, I'm going to go with a female. I love training with men, but if you're in midlife, I find a trainer that really is aware of what's going on because they know then a lot more, first of all, how you're feeling, but they also can tweak your training around your cycle. It's really important. I've noticed a huge difference in myself, a huge difference in myself because I'm not the same every day. We're just not the same every single day. That'd be lovely, but we don't know what that's like for you men.
Hey, we have hard things to deal with too. Your journey, this aspect of your journey started with when you saw a doctor and you were able to dig deep into the hormones and see what's happening. So, for listeners who are listening to this, primarily the audience is entrepreneurs, women who are working and maybe working out, maybe not, but maybe are feeling some symptoms. What should they go to their doctor even ask for?
Great question. Okay, so first of all, my general doctor at the time, and most general doctors, they're not educated on midlife specifically. So I was a little bit dismissed. She was wonderful, but it was dismissed as, well, this is just part of getting older. And I'm like, I can't function. Like, I need more than this. And there was just no answers. So for me, I sought out a hormone specialist. And by the time I was able to see her, I broke down sobbing in this woman's office. I was like, you've got to help me. Somebody has to help me. And I've never turned back because there is a very big difference between just general practitioners and someone who deals specifically with women's hormones. Your general doctor is just going to run the general blood panels that they run. And there's nothing wrong with that. We just need a little bit more support at this time. She ran tests on me that I never even heard of. And the one test, and I highly recommend this for everyone, this is males included, that you get a genetic methylation test. So it's only done once in your lifetime. It is a blood test. Very easy, a little expensive. So if it's not covered, it's hundreds of dollars, but you only get it done once. And basically, all of the supplements that I am on and everything that I am on is for my DNA, my genetics, right? I'm on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy that's good for me. So, my biggest recommendation is to find, I say it like this: if I need brain surgery, I'm not going to my general doctor. I am going to a brain surgeon. I want somebody who specializes in what they're doing. And so seeking out a hormone specialist was an absolute game changer for me. She saved my life. She monitors me. I get blood work done every 3 months instead of just seeing somebody once a year that just takes a very generalized blood panel. And then we adjust as we go. Because here's the last piece of that. You don't just see this person once and it's, oh, here, take these vitamins and supplements and you're okay. This transition is called a transition because you are transitioning from perimenopause to postmenopause, and we are changing every day, every month. In 6 months, it may look different than it does today for me. So as I'm transitioning through this, it is really important that somebody is coming along that journey for me and adjusting as we go. So I've never felt better. And it's so comforting to know that there are people out there that can help you with this. You just have to seek them out wherever they are in your area.
You said on your journey, not only understanding the importance of hormonal health change your life, training changes that you did help to change your life, but also you spoke about mindset. So what
Yeah.
role does mindset play in hormone management and overall wellness based on your experience in coaching?
This is like, it's such an exciting topic for me to talk about. My mindset around pretty much every area of my life has changed since this all started. Like I said, I'm about 6 years in that I knew about it. Okay. Probably started about 40, but I was 42 when I found out about it. Because of your change in hormones and your loss of estrogen and things that are going on, it is absolutely true that we just do not care about certain things as we're going through this. which is very liberating. So you start to the things that you just made big deals about when you were a little bit younger are just like, whatever, just not as big of a deal. So there's that whole mindset shift. And then you get to know yourself better through all this tracking and the blood work that she has me do and all that. I've learned what all that stuff means and like how my body works. And so the mindset around that is empowering. That's empowering. Like knowing myself better than I thought I knew myself very well. And it turns out there was a whole other layer below that. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to that first hour when you wake up. I'm going to go back to that first hour, even if it's 30 minutes for you, but take some time to focus on your personal growth, listen to something that you need to listen to, sit in silence if you have to. But that really changed how I interact with the world on an everyday basis. And yeah, I would definitely say that just taking my power back on my health has been the biggest shift of my life. I was one of those that, you know how you're supposed to, dentists say, get your teeth cleaned every 6 months? I'm there every 6 months. I'm not there 6 months in one day. Okay, like I get my teeth cleaned every 6 months. Like you're supposed to get a pap smear once every, it used to be every year. What is it, every 3 years now? I'm there on the day. Like I never missed doctor's appointments. So I thought that I had all this, that I was taking action and control over my own health. But then when I learned this whole other side of really getting to know myself and tracking every day and being cognizant of my feelings and emotions, because I didn't always handle the emotions very well because I didn't understand where they were coming from, has been so empowering. This is if women listening look at perimenopause as like a huge opportunity to get to know yourself better and pursue things now that maybe you never had the courage to do before, this is the time to do it because it's exciting. It's exciting. So at first, what I thought was really bad turned out to be, it's so far, it's the best time of my life.
You also have your own app now. What
Right.
inspired you to create the Coach Gina app, and what unique problem is it solve for women in midlife?
So easy. So the reason that I started this app was literally because of my perimenopause journey. I was doing it alone, and I don't want any woman to have to go through this alone. So it is exclusively for women. Any woman would be welcome, of course, but it is geared specifically to midlife women. Everything in this app and everything that I pour into it is the support that I wish I had throughout the journey and the things I wish I knew, from tracking tools to how to fuel our body with nutrition to meditations to specific biohacking for us in midlife, because not all these biohacks out there really pertain to us and some of them actually harm us. It was really important for me for women to have a place to go when I didn't have a place to go. And they can have a safe place to have a community of all women going through the same thing at the same time, instead of on social media, because every comment and everything you put out there is public and sometimes you get nasty things back and whatnot. So this is not that. This is a safe place where we're all in the same boat. We're all going through the same things. And so I'm so excited about it because, it just launched. So it is new and we have a ton of stuff coming in it over the next year. So I'm really excited for that community.
You talked about the importance of understanding the emotional side of these hormone induced changes, right? So, talk to us a little bit about how, if someone downloaded the app, how it would benefit them to understand what these changes mean and what kind of support they can get from you.
There's a few ways that they can use it. So they can use it, of course, all on their own. They can also work with me one on one inside the app. Coming soon, within the next few months, there'll be the community section. So when the community section opens, that's where I'm really wanting to focus on emotionally supporting the women as a community, and they can all ask questions and have everyone answer, or I'm experiencing this, has anyone else experienced that? For me, just knowing if somebody else is going through the same thing and knowing that I wasn't alone, that was always better for me in anything that I do. Like I said, when I first started on this, I felt really alone because I had no one to really turn to and know what the heck was going on. So that's, I'm really excited about that they can come to a place where they're just supported.
You not only transformed your body and your mind through this process, but also chose to pursue your purpose. So, if there is one message you could share about taking risks and pursuing purpose with women over 40, what would it be?
If there is something inside of you that has been whispering to you for any amount of time, could be years, listen to it. Now's the time to take the reins and say, this is how I want my life to look. I have always taught fitness on the side. That was always like a side hustle, if you call it, but really it was just because I loved to do it. And then I'd go to a full time job that I didn't love. And that whisper kept getting louder and louder until I was like, I can't ignore this anymore. And the brass tacks of it is, I'm going to die and you're going to die. And I know that sounds really maybe morbid to anyone listening, but the fact is that we don't have forever here. And I just felt that calling too strong. It was too strong to say, you know what? This is what I really want to be doing. I want to help women. How can I help them? I can't help them by staying in a space that I no longer want to be in. And it goes back to that when your hormones are shifting, you start not caring about some things. And it was like, need to be where I'm in alignment with myself because staying in places where I'm not aligned was never going to give me a life of happiness, ever.
If you could go back in time and speak directly to yourself at the beginning of your perimenopause journey, right? What wisdom, what reassurance would you give to that version of you that was nervous and confused, not knowing what's happening to her?
Yeah. Oh, I would say so much. But stop being scared. Stop worrying about what people think. Stop doubting yourself because you have way more in you than and I would have told her to take a that entrepreneurial leap way sooner than this version did. Yeah.
What do you think most women are scared of when you're talking about this?
For me, it always comes down to fear. And that fear can be in multiple things or it can be one thing, but it always comes back to fear. Fear of judgment, fear of what people will think, mostly the people around us. Family can be the worst. Friends, we love them dearly, but there's fear of failure. Humans love to be comfortable. We absolutely love to be comfortable. Oh my gosh, I'm a little hot. It's 74 in here. It should be 72. Like anything that makes us a little uncomfortable, we immediately want to go back to comfort. It's just how we're wired. And I would say, step out of your comfort zone and just see what happens. Even just dip a toe in it, and you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at what you can do. And going back to alignment, so much of my life felt misaligned when I started hitting this phase. Some relationships felt misaligned. My work felt misaligned. The sales job, that environment felt very misaligned. I started to feel like I don't belong here. And when you start feeling like that, and again, I stayed longer than I wanted to in a lot of these situations because comfort. It was just comfort. It was just what I was used to. And why am I so uncomfortable with being uncomfortable? So the mindset work really had to happen first before the physical acts fell into place. But anyone listening, take that leap of faith, do it sooner than I did, do it now. You can do it and you're going to be okay. Always ask yourself this question: what is the worst thing that could happen?
We have interviewed a few fitness trainers on our channel before, but what really differentiates you from everybody else, even though all fitness trainers are in some ways trying to reduce pain in people's lives, right? Obesity, all these things that are hurting us. I think your work is taking that step forward because there are so many women who are dieting, who are motivated, who are doing the cardio and doing the workouts and just not seeing the result simply because they're fighting against biology
Yep.
and they just don't understand how the biology works. So it's one level of frustration when you are not doing the work and you are not progressing. But it's a whole another level of frustration when you're doing the work and you're not progressing. It's
Mhm.
not because of your fault, it's because of something else that you don't even know about. So for someone like yourself to come out and educate people on that, you're doing work that is desperately needed. So thank you for doing that. Tell our audience where they can find you, what's going on in your life.
Yes. Okay. You can find me inside the app. You can meet me inside the app at Coach Gina, or you can head to my website, and there's lots of free resources and fun things there. And that's just ginaperin.com. And you can join me. You can meet me in my newsletter that goes out twice a week, totally free. And that'll give you lots and lots of information and tips and tricks to guide us through this midlife. And of course, you can find me on all the social media platforms, Gina_Perin on Instagram, Gina Perin on Facebook, and Gina Perin on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Gina. I hope to talk to you soon again.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.